Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. Hope you're well. A couple of quick thoughts today. That one thing that I thought I would share with you that really helped me a lot, and I think why it helped me was because it helped me to heal, and I'll get into that in a second. But before I do, I know the world's facing into some real issues right now, and it's for many of us, certainly for me. I love America. I've been there now 8 or 9 times, I think, in my lifetime, and I just love everything about the country. It's just so diverse. Everything's the power of a dream, and it's an inspiring country. And I got to say, I'm really really upset about what's happening in the States at the moment, and it's really quite, and I know you are too. I mean, anyone with any 1 ounce of compassion would be really concerned about what's happening. And, to see people express what's going on inside their heart to the level that's being displayed at the moment in the United States is just incredible. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a heart issue. It's not anything else. It's, people express what's really happening sooner or later, if that's allowed to build up and gather momentum within oneself, and it could take years. And this is a lesson this is what I learned, and it ties into what I'm about to talk about. There's one answer for the United States, and there's one answer for everyone really, and that is forgiveness. Forgiveness is something which makes no sense really. I suppose, when you go to think about forgiveness, you think, well, why should I forgive? I have my right to be this way. And yes, you do. I mean, everybody has a right to express their displeasure. Everyone has a right to protest about things that they believe in their heart are not right, and express that dissatisfaction and that desire to want to correct what they believe is not right. And that's a human right we all have. It is another case. It is another issue though when then that flows over to hurting other people and hurting other people's property, hurting other people's lives, hurting other people in some way. That's not protesting peacefully. That's another level right there, and it's evil. Racism is evil. Period. It's how one can judge another person by the colour of their skin is beyond comprehension. But obviously in America, it's a deep generational issue. And I'm confident that sooner or later this will cause people to examine their own heart, not just in the United States, but all over the world. If there is a prejudged view on other people based on their ethnicity, based on the colour of their skin, based on their religious beliefs, then there's a fundamental problem with that mindset. And it manifests itself sooner or later in destruction, and that's why forgiveness is such a powerful thing, because it's the only thing that can heal a broken heart. And when I say a broken heart, I'm just not talking about being sad. I'm talking about a heart condition that causes destruction. And, if you're going through, like I went through, as many of you guys know, I went through it years ago, a marriage divorce. And, I had to forgive. I had to for my own well-being, I had to forgive people in my world who I felt had done me wrong. And not for their benefit necessarily, but for my benefit. It set me free from the hurt, right? And it's never come near. I mean, I haven't forgotten it completely, but it has no emotional stronghold over me anymore. And that's what's required when you see division and people from their own country burning down their own homes and their own cities. Because your city is your home, your country town is your home, wherever you live is your home, right? And people are actually burning down the place where they live to express a broken heart, and that manifests itself into just irrational, inhumane behaviour. So where it's all going to end up in the United States, God only knows. But my prayer for that country is, and for everyone who's got turmoil going on in their life, forgiveness. You've got to forgive. And in America, it's generational. It's part of their history. This racism spirit. It's a demonic spirit which causes division, and there's nothing healthy in it whatsoever. And it's in a minority. It's not in the majority of Americans that I know are people-loving, country-loving people. They love their flag, they love their country, they're passionate, they love each other, regardless of race and colour and religion. That's the majority. But right now you're seeing a fringe element that are expressing a divisive, evil behaviour fueled on by some people in very high places who are using the media as a mouthpiece to express that division and to keep it in your face. So for most people on the planet, they think, well, America's going down the toilet. But I don't believe that's the case, because I speak to, I've got people that we're connecting with in the United States, and, while this is going on, there's a guy sent a rocket living his dream. First privately owned space mission in history out of the United States happened in the midst of this turmoil. While this is going on, we've got a business in the United States. We have our best sales day for a long time in the midst of this turmoil. So people are still buying stuff. While this is going on, people are still getting on with their lives, chasing their dreams, building their futures and their families. So there is so much that you don't see that's positive that the media, you will never find on mainstream media. But I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. But forgiveness is the key, right? And ultimately, when America does heal, forgiveness will be a huge part of that healing process. And in your life, if you've got unforgiveness and it's causing you angst and grief and bitterness, can I encourage you really got to examine it, face into it, have the courage to face into it, because if you don't, over time it gets worse and it manifests itself in so many different weird and ugly ways that you end up coming off second best sooner or later. So forgiveness is all about you and you being free, not necessarily for the person who's done the wrong by you. Just some thoughts, right? Don't let fear, doubt, confusion, division, and unforgiveness rule your life. Because if you do, the end result of it's devastating. Love you. Take care. And those of you guys in the States, your best days are ahead, I'm convinced. This is a season you're going through. Something good will come out of it. I'm absolutely convinced of that. So, bless you.